Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on the Taming of the Shrew, and we are in this weird part of the play where none of the act and scene numbers make any sense whatsoever. In the folio, this is still part of Act 3. Some people would call it like Act 3, Scene 3 or Act 3, Scene 4. Some people call this Act 4, Scene 1. We're all over the place, but the stuff that has happened. Petruchio and Catherine got married. He was late, he was underdressed, he was really rude and belligerent through the whole ceremony, and then made her leave with him before they got to have the reception or have dinner with the families, all that kind of thing. And Kate is not happy about any of this, but she had to go because he's her husband, so she went. And Tranio and Lucentio are going to try to find somebody to pretend to be Lucentio's father so that Lucentio can prove that he has all of the things that he promised to Bianca in order to be able to marry Bianca, because Baptista is leaning towards letting Bianca marry Lucentio, who's actually Tranio, because Lucentio is pretending to be Cambio the teacher. Anyway, so all of that is happening. At the top of this particular scene where we are, call it 4-1 if you would like, we have Grumio, who is Petruchio's servant, not to be mixed up with Gremio, who wants to marry Bianca. We have Grumio talking to another servant at Petruchio's house. Grumio got there first, and he's trying to prepare the house for Petruchio and Catherine to arrive. So he's working with another servant, Curtis, and they're trying to get a fire started and make sure that there's food and make sure that there's blankets and make sure all of the stuff, they're sort of running around. And Grumio is in a terrible mood, and he recounts a story that while they were all riding back here to Petruchio's house, at one point, Catherine fell off her horse in the mud, and Petruchio did nothing to help her, and instead got mad at everybody else for the fact that she fell off of her horse. So Petruchio is continuing his stretch of just basically being a jerk. And by the time he gets home with Catherine, he's continuing this whole jerk thing. By now, a bunch of other servants and servingmen have come out. There's a Nathaniel and a Patrick or a bunch of other guys have come out, and they all greet him, and he's like, "Where are these people?" And he's just going off, and he starts barking orders at everybody. And as part of this monologue doesn't really feel like a monologue, but it is a monologue, so just bear with me on it. As part of his barking orders at people, he's like, "Go, rascals, go and fetch my supper. Where is the life that late I led? Where are Sit down, Kate, and welcome. Sood, 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 sood." And a bunch of certain people come back in. "Why, when, I say, nay, good sweet Kate, be merry. Off with my boots, you rogues, you villains, when?" "It was the Friar of Orders Grey, as he forth walked on his way." "Out, you rogue, you pluck my foot awry. Take that, and mend the plucking of the other. Be merry, Kate. Some water here. What, ho? Where's my spaniel Troilus? Sirrah, get you hence, and bid my cousin Ferdinand come hither. One, Kate, that you must kiss and be acquainted with. Where are my slippers? Shall I have some water? Come, Kate, and wash, and welcome heartily. You whoreson villain, will you let it fall?" So basically, he's just being a jerk, is what's going on. He's yelling at the servants that he wants supper, and then he's singing this merry little tune, and he keeps telling Catherine that she should just, be comfortable and be happy and all that sort of thing, because she's probably really uncomfortable at this point. I don't think she's gotten a change out of her muddy clothes, and he's just being a jerk and has been a jerk ever since she first met him, and now she's married to him and has to live here with all of these people. So he's having somebody take his boots off for him, and he's calling for water, and he's calling for dinner, and he's asking for his dogs, and there's more of this that goes on because somebody brings in the dogs, but they're not the dogs that he wanted, and they bring in the dinner, and he's like, "Oh, what is this?" And they're like, "It's venison or whatever," and he's like, "Well, it's burnt, so take it all away, nobody can eat it." He doesn't even let Catherine eat any, even though she says it was fine, so can we please have some? And he's like, "No, they have to follow the rules, so come off into the bedroom now, because I'm going to give you what for." So they go off into another room, and a couple of the serving people come back out, probably just Grumio and Curtis, and they let us, the audience know, that in this room, Petruchio is basically just yelling at Catherine, giving her what for. Whether or not he physically beats her, I don't know, but he's at least yelling at her a lot in this other room. And then he comes back into the room where everybody else was, and the servants like scatter because they don't want to see him. And he gets another monologue before this scene is over. So we'll get to hear, do we think that there is method in his madness? I don't know. What do you think? Leave me a comment, and I'll see you tomorrow for more. Mwah.